30,000 and odd species. India has about 1,256 species. And India is blessed with kind of diversity we have here, starting from the Eastern Himalayas, and then you have the Western Ghats here, and then the Andaman Nicobar. These are the major, bit of Eastern Himalayas also. These are the 4 major distribution centers in India, and we have wonderful diversity. Even among Indian species also, 200 of them are ornamentally beautiful. But the unfortunate thing is we are still not able to tap the potential of what it is, whether in terms of commercial. When consider that the first hybrid was came in somewhere in 1856, man-made hybrid, and today we are in 2024. From then and now, about 193,000 orchid hybrids are registered. Equally or more number of hybrids are unregistered. They cross it, they don't register it, they keep selling it. Now, if you see the India position, we have only about 208 out of 193. So the great potential is there, but still need to be tapped. The beauty of this, why orchids are unique. Orchids are unique mainly for their flowers. The flowers comes in different sizes, shapes, and mimicking literally everything and anything. The bees, the monkey shape, you have seen the monkey orchid, and they last almost, in fact, the Phalaenopsis flowers almost last for 2 to 3 months, you can say. If you keep it in the living room, easily the Phalaenopsis hybrid lasts for 2 to 3 months. Forget about on the plant, it will be definitely much more what it is. So, you see here some of these species, they have very unique way of flowering and color disposition, especially the contrasting colors. And all is with only one purpose, that it needs to attract pollinators and then survive itself. It's not for human beings, it's for them to survive. And there comes their role in, you can say, from the ecological angle or from the ecosystem angle. These are the best indicators of the health of the ecosystem. As long as they are in the ecosystem, it is vibrant and living ecosystem. And they are very slow growing plants in the nature. So they are the last to vanish. So once they start vanishing in any ecosystem, especially I'm talking about tropical ecosystems, where you have the ferns, you have the lichens, you have the mosses, and you have the orchids and the bromeliads. So they are the last to vanish. Once they vanish, then it is very difficult for the ecosystem to come back to its resilience. Way back when Charles Darwin described one particular species, Angraecum sesquipedale, that's called, we call it as Darwin's orchid. He said at that time that this orchid has to be pollinated by an insect which has a proboscis of almost 1 foot length. So eventually it turned out that later on when they observed that it was pollinated by a moth which has a proboscis of almost 1 foot. So that kind of observations have gone a long way, and it's very well documented. So interaction between the orchids and other organisms in the ecosystem or other biota in the ecosystem is very well documented. Now here I have a reasonable collection of species and some of those selected hybrids for using as a parent. I have been into hybridizing for about now 6-7 years, and the whole idea is the flowers most of the times they will not synchronize because you cross or you breed new hybrids either for the size of the flower, color of the flower, or its floriferous nature. So that being the criteria, now you select the 2 parents. So they may not flower together. So in which cases I just take out the pollen and keep the pollen or store the pollen in a refrigerator. The pollens are viable for almost 1 year. So whenever the other parent, desired parent is there in bloom, I transfer the pollinia, what we call as pollinia, to the other parent, and that becomes a mother plant and this the father plant, and then eventually it sets in. These we call it as jewel orchids. So they are little unique in the sense they are terrestrial orchids, and their leaf shape. Here, flowers are not the criteria. Here it is the shape of the leaf and the design of the leaf. I mean, you can feel the leaf, which is almost like a velvety touch. There are different genus of that, and we grow it in little bit of high humid conditions. And these are some beautiful, and all these are naturally occurring in uh, most of the places. And you can feel the leaf. Yeah, here I have some of my lady slipper collection, and here you can see this is one of those beautiful species, Paphiopedilum concolor in bloom. And lady slipper orchids are novelty among the orchids. They are the much sought after orchids, and several hybrids have been made, and they are very expensive hybrids. In fact, our Wildlife Protection Act has protected about 10 species of Paphiopedilums in the country, in India, and they are all protected species and not to be collected from the wild. And here I have some of those crosses of Paphiopedilum which I have made and taken out from the lab and put out for hardening is done, and now they are coming to ambient conditions. And I have several of those crosses which have been made here, and this again it's all Paphiopedilum crosses and some of the species here. And what you can see here is one of those attractive Dendrobium species, Dendrobium unicum here. So it's a very unique species. You can see it is an epiphyte which has been growing on this patch of wood, and you can see already it is the old canes are flowering and the new shoot is already coming out. This genus Bulbophyllum is the largest genus in the family Orchidaceae, and Bulbophyllum has almost 2,000 species occurring in nature, and this one species is Bulbophyllum fletchianum. So this grows huge along with Bulbophyllum phalaenopsis and Bulbophyllum orthosepalum. Now the criteria for good cultivation is, if this is your latest leaf, the next leaf, that is the next leaf which has emerged is this one, it should be longer than this. So only then if you see this is the last leaf which has emerged, and all these are the earlier ones. Now this one is latest one and it is still growing, it will definitely overtake this one. So your culture also plays important role in this, and this is one of those unique species. And Bulbophyllums are known to attract a lot of insects by their I wouldn't say fragrance, by the smell, because many of them carry very bad smell, and that's all. The whole process is to attract the pollinators, and some of those when the flowers will smell of dead meat, dead rotten meat. So it's all to attract the pollinators. Of course, these are some of the Bulbophyllums, and that's the Bulbophyllum phalaenopsis which I was talking about. So both belong to the same group. Then I have some Paphiopedilums here. In fact, these Paphiopedilums, which are the mottled leaf, they are very attractive as a foliage also, in terms of foliage. Then you have here some of the phalaenopsis species and hybrids also here. Phalaenopsis is another very interesting genus, and is known as moth orchids, and their flowers last pretty long. In fact, these flowers will last easily for about 2 months when they can be kept in the living room. And these are some of my Vanda crosses with the seedlings in various stages. And these are all Andaceous orchids which is in my collection. Vandas are real unique. They are the real epiphytes. And in fact, they don't need any media to this thing. They can just be put in a basket and take care of the roots. And once you take care of the roots, I think they thrive and flower very well, as you have been seeing here. We have some gongoras here, which is this is a South American orchid, and they really bloom during spring time, and they produce a lot of such cascading flowers. And these are some of the dendrobium species from my collection. This time, because of very harsh summer, the flowering has been little erratic, and sometimes they have flowered, sometimes they have just postponed. Because basically plants respond to these ambient conditions by various ways. One of those ways is just to put off the flowering, because flowering of a plant takes away a lot of energy from the plant. So it's a question of survival, produce flowers, produce seeds, and then survive. So when that being is postponed, the plant tries to make kind of a survival without getting much damage. This is one of those very attractive dendrobium hybrid, which we can use it for as a parent, because this is very free flowering and very floriferous, and grows huge. You can look at the canes and the size of the plant. This is Vanda Krishna, my hybrid. Of course, just probably bloomed a couple of months back, and this is the one which I registered in the year 2022. I crossed Vanda Tessellata with another hybrid, and it is registered with Royal Horticultural Society, Kew Gardens. I have here again, this was not supposed to be part of my orchidarium, but then so evening we used to have some chairs and sit for a leisurely evening, but then it turned out to be that the orchids have completely taken over, and so much so it has almost become like a jungle here. So I have here mostly Vandas, and I kept the top open with a shade net only. So I really have to look for during the heavy rain season, because dripping or the water staying in the whorl of the leaf in the evening and then drop in temperature invites trouble. But then fortunately they are all doing well, because they like these ambient conditions. And most of these are Vandaceous orchids here. And this side I have mostly dendrobiums from northeast. So, and I have here, which I need to show. This is one of my crosses with Aeridis laurentia and Vanda, and these are almost now little more than 1.5 years after deflasking. This will take probably another 2 years or so to bloom. This is one of those hybrids which probably looking forward. So they, if you really take care of them, you see I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants on just a piece of this wood. They really love that kind of conditions where they have moisture, but they have good aeration, and at the same time good light.